Hey everyone, what is up? I'm Salman and welcome to Salman Needs a Job. So last month I attended a Web3 meetup in Bangalore hosted by the Swaraj Projekt, which is a music NFT project doing some really interesting work. They're building a community of artists from India and helping them get onboarded to Web3. So at this meetup I met Revant, who is from Flint.Money, and we had this really interesting conversation about crypto adoption and the work they're doing at Flint.Money to facilitate that. All the more interesting because on this episode, for the first time on Salman Needs a Job, I had a co-host on, which is Saswat, host of the very popular SaaS IT UP podcast, and who is also about to launch, literally just tomorrow, a Web3 podcast called the Web3 Ocean on his project Republic of Ocean. A couple of episodes are already up and they're awesome, and I'm excited to share that with you. So I just wanted to drop in before launching into the interview with Revant and give this piece of information. Check out the Web3 Ocean. The link is in the description. All right, let's go.
Here's what I have in mind. Initially, I'll introduce you both. And I'll ask about his background.
Sure.
And then you take over with the DeFi stuff. Yeah, we're doing it. Hey everyone, what is up? I'm right now in Bangalore at a Web3 meetup by the Swaraj Projekt. And here I have with me a co-host for the first time on Salman Needs a Job, Saswat, who is the host of SaaS IT UP podcast. And today we are interviewing Revant. As I was chatting with him, I found his background to be totally fascinating, from a documentary creator to a journalist and to finally being in crypto and in Flint.Money handling growth right now. Okay, so we'll start with an introduction about your background. What I find amazing about this whole space is how people from such a diverse set of experiences are drawn into Web3 for different reasons. So we'll just start with that, and then we'll get into DeFi, which is this product that Flint.Money is building. And Saswat here is about to launch a Web3 podcast, a DeFi podcast. Am I right? And he's going to take over as a co-host and talk to him about that product, Flint.Money. First of all, how are you doing?
Pleasure, man.
Let's start with an introduction about yourself, okay? Just tell me about your background a little bit, and then we'll take over from there.
My entry into the whole crypto space started out when the whole GameStop fiasco happened. Though I was digging into crypto much longer before that. But when the GameStop fiasco happened and there was a break for a couple of days, and when the markets opened up on a Monday, and then you see all the networks going, oh no, everybody is selling GameStop stock and everybody is buying silver. And then you look at the Reddit forums and you realize that none of the community members are actually selling up. And that's when you realize how rigged the system is. And this is where the benefits of crypto do kick in. I mean, when you talk about decentralization and you being in control of your own money, I mean, this is the whole point of what cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin stands for at a larger scale. It's about decentralizing the economy, but at the same time, a matter of trust is also to be generated. A lot of people do not understand crypto at a larger scale. And getting them onboarded from a TradFi space and also providing them an alternative exposure is very much important. And with the steep, what we've been trying to do at Flint, per se.
We'll get into Flint.
I'm not marketing Flint.
No, we absolutely, by all means, do market Flint. But let's start with an introduction about your background.
So I'll tell you what, I mean, the beauty of what the crypto world exists, right? It's like people from different backgrounds. They've come and they've tried to build an ecosystem out of so many different things. And from where I started, keeping the GameStop fiasco, which really took on a massive scale globally, I mean, that pushed me into this. Prior to that, I was actually into a multitude of industries. To kickstart, I was in the entertainment segment where I did produce documentaries, basically on the counterculture stuff in India, and that was something that we were doing a trial as well about how the Indian audience would accept different kind of documentaries. Luckily, one of it was picked up by Nat Geo.
Which one is that?
It's called Curry Pav. It's a ski culture film, so I produced it. And we had Rohan and a bunch of guys from another production house based out of Bombay that really helped us out. And we did produce a couple of films as well in the Telugu film industry at the same time. Keeping all those aside, then I was always enticed about being a journalist. So my initial career kicked off trying to be an intern at one of the big networks in India. I mean, I still remember the day when my professor said the day of graduation, Rev, do not get disappointed. And I never really understood why he said that. And when he did say that, did pick up an internship, did work for a few months. But then again, I realized what he meant. I mean, when you talk about yellow journalism, when you talk about a lot of other things, I mean, even journalism becomes a part of entertainment. And when you really want to focus on serious stuff, it becomes hard. And so that led me to some other career choices. So entertainment was one. Then I was in, let's say, in the biotech segment as well. And but my major focus throughout the whole career, in different industries, whatever I was at, has always been on the business development and marketing side of things. And crypto ended up being a passion after a very long time, something I was passionate about. And the GameStop just catapulted me into the whole next league about trying to make a difference. And when you're passionate about something, you can really go ahead and try to make a difference, right? Anybody can.
Awesome, dude. From journalism to entertainment to biotech and all that, and getting into crypto, I want to understand this growth role. Let's move into Flint, the work that it does at Flint.Money, and this whole thing about DeFi, which actually I don't really understand.
So first of all, welcome Revant. It's So we are like good friends as well. So I'm very curious for your worldview around the Web3 and the decentralization that you rightly mentioned about. So let me start off with this thing, right? I mean, the Web3 ecosystem in the US has taken off a long time back. And in the Indian space, especially from last year onwards, after the post-pandemic for the last few months, it has been really taking off in Bangalore and other nodes like Delhi, Bombay, and other places as well. So first of all, your worldview around this Web3, and thereafter we'll come to the other smaller parts of where Flint.Money fixes into it as well.
So when you look at the larger picture, right, these days, let's see what's really happening globally. You look at different governments actually legalizing it, and they realize that individuals are making a difference. People are accepting different forms of currencies. It's not about just you being centralized to a certain national currency or a dollarization of an economy. And this is where the governments have realized there is a different interest here. And you start looking at where multiple institutions as well. You're talking about hedge funds, you're talking about so many different other financial institutions also trying to make a difference in this market. And they believe that there's enough amount of retail exposure right now that people are looking at alternatives and they're coming into this. So you look at the explosion that's happening around you. Let it be in terms of adaptability, let it be in terms of people trying to game the system, trying to get more interest rates. We talk about people, let's say, DAO for decentralizations. There's so many things that are happening. I mean, the fine example, we thought the war with Ukraine would open up a cryptocurrency adoption to a larger extent. Prior to that, what really happened? You look at Ukraine really legalizing it so that no matter what happens, even in a war situation, people are safeguarded. And then you start looking at how Russia, per se, they actually, when the central bank of Russia said no, we do not want to go ahead with cryptocurrencies, but then Putin stepped in. Putin said, no, we're going to do a cryptocurrency adoption. The whole reason behind it, again, is if you look at what's happening. If sanctions are put in place, what happens? Your SWIFT bank transfer stop. If that stops, what is going to help them up? It's not only their own network that would function in terms of payments, but also cryptocurrency becomes a major player for them. So everybody in Russia is also adopting crypto to a very large scale, and it's mind-blowing when you look at the number of Russians who are there, who are adopting crypto at a larger scale of things. And Asian countries, you look at what really happened in Thailand. In Thailand, everybody was using crypto as a form of payment. And the government realized it a bit too late. That's when they realized, okay, it's about time we regulate it so that we understand about what's really going on. And now every country on the globe, I would say, are actually they've realized the fact that it is here to stay and it is about to make a difference in people's lives. It's about, rather than commercializing into a few select hands, it's about democratizing it on a larger scale.
So I think I'll try to take a segue on this as well. So most probably you touched upon a variety of points, but one thing that really piqued my interest is that alternatives for traditional investing as well. Like as Web3 really takes off, right? I'm not talking about the folks who are really investing in a lot of traditional bitcoins or altcoins as well, but I'm talking about people, retail investors who are taking a pivot from their equity market investments to directly, other alternatives as well. And possibly that could be one of the space where Flint.Money could be, trying to get a wedge or a space into. So, would love to know your thoughts around that.
Yeah. So, when you talk about crypto adoption,
sure.
It takes a very huge steep learning curve. Yeah. It's not like everybody can just come in and buy into crypto, because to a larger extent, when you look at it, everybody's still trading on centralized exchanges. And what happens is, the knowledge behind about what coin you're trading or what it is still very limited, because people are either it's a herd mentality that they go ape into a coin, or at least a lot of people do research. But what happens is there's still a larger chunk of the market. I mean, you're talking about a 2 trillion, 2.5 trillion right now. Or when the market goes up and down, it kind of reduces as well. You got to look at how do we get these people in the traditional finance markets onto getting a different exposure in crypto. So you have to remove the learning barrier, how fast they can actually get exposure, because everybody is busy in these days. So what we've tried to build at Flint is something that's easy for everybody to have a different exposure. In India, for example, when we did launch the app, we were trying to be a conduit between traditional finance markets and the crypto markets at large. So you download to investment in less than 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, and you get an exposure to a different asset. As you invest and you start earning, I mean, I'm not saying move away from equities. You always have to spread your risk.
Sure.
But it's an understanding and it's an entry somewhere. And if you want to take a utopian approach, I mean, I can go about it all night, but
you can rant about it as well.
But it's about having an understanding where the crypto markets can go, where Bitcoin per se, why is it so decentralized, and how people look at it on a larger scale of things. I mean, it's phenomenal what's being created, and over the last year, the adoption has become much bigger. And we'll have to see where it goes, in all honesty.
So just to take, make it a little bit clearer, let's say Salman today from the traditional, investment space, from the retail ecosystem wants to actually invest a little bit and have a touch point with your Web3 or crypto layer. So how he would actually go about it? I mean, could you just explain the touch points or the thought process and the process of actually onboarding into the Web3 game?
Okay, so there are a couple of things, right? So what we're doing at Flint are twofold. One is getting somebody from the TradFi space coming onto the DeFi, and the second thing is already there are enough crypto native people that exist in the ecosystem. So we're catering to both kind of people. So say for example, if Salman's a retailer who has no exposure at all, it's about him downloading the app, it's about him going ahead and doing his first investment. And as I said earlier, your investment is as smooth as, the most important thing is about building a user experience and an interface that provides you with all kind of information possible. And this is what we've been able to build at Flint. So multitude of information is right at your fingertips. What are you investing in? What are the risks involved? These are very much of an important product concern, and we address it at every single point of time. And this is what we've been able to be successful at doing. And we still are creating a product of much larger audience. It'll be much more financial products. But right now, Salman does not want to have any sort of let's say if the markets go up or down, and he's scared that, hey, crypto is so volatile that I'm too scared to invest in. So we say, hey, there is another alternative option. You invest in stablecoins pegged to $1,
sure,
and you earn interest on that. So it's as simple as about, no matter where the market goes up and down, at least you're safeguarded and your interest is earned. And if you're a crypto native and you already are in the crypto ecosystem, what we're doing is we're building multitude of financial products. So when you look at what's really happening in the DeFi space at large, a lot of protocols that are built around, it's not really user-friendly. I mean, it does take time for you to come up with a digital wallet, for you to go and invest in different protocols, and they do a lot of things, right? So what we're doing is, in one single app, we're going to make things easier for you, where you come from across cross-chain, you can invest. And so we start with the initial product of a stablecoin again, but we have multitude of other financial products that are going to make it easier for any crypto native to come and invest in. So it's about giving that user experience, which is more important for a crypto native, because crypto natives are being deprived of that, in all honesty. I mean, it takes a lot of learning curve even for you to move from one chain to the other chain to invest in a different DeFi protocol. So do I get a wrap token? Do I get this? If I transfer my USDT to some other chain, would it exist? There's so many technicalities. So if you don't know what you're doing, you end up losing your money. But why don't I provide all those services in one particular app? Make it a global crypto investment app. I mean, bring in the mother load of everything into one single app for your financial exposure.
Sure. I think I'm a Flint customer or a user as well, maybe one of the early adopters to test out the product. And what he was trying to say is that it is very user-friendly. You can actually download the app, and if you have an early access or a code, you can just get into the app. And it's very easy to just make a very smaller deposit of a fiat currency of, let's say, 2,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees, right? You just deposit that. What it actually happens is that it actually tells you that with regards to those 2,000 deposit, how much of stable coin, USDT, you are actually buying. let's say, a stable coin is somewhere around pegged to the US dollar. So you will get somewhere around, in depositing 2,000 rupees, maybe you'll be getting 25 US dollar, etc., USDT, etc. in your account. So in the UX UI space, you can actually look into that app and you can actually see that, hey, you've bought in INR and you're actually getting 25 USDT, and you can see the counter running in live as well. So you can actually see, you are getting the interest, which is like 13% APY, if I'm not wrong. And on top of that, you can also see that if the dollar value goes up, you can actually see that the price that you have already deposited going up as well. So from a very newbie's perspective, who is very new to the crypto space, it's like you can actually make a smaller deposit and have a taste of how the Web3 ecosystem or the DeFi is actually is. So that's interesting as well.
So I'm going to check it out. But in general, I feel like user experience is a huge problem in Web3. Even something as simple it's supposed to be as getting an NFT. The steps are out there. You know it. Install MetaMask, get funds into it, and then mint your NFT. But people really find it hard to get it. And if it's on Polygon, which you would like it to be because it's going to cost a lot lesser, it's even more harder. But generally speaking, I think user experience is a problem in Web3. And anything, I think nowadays the products that are coming out of India and everything is trying to make it like simpler, and that is great. And when it comes to DeFi, I personally, even when it comes to financial concepts, I am a little backwards there. So I think any assistance with this is a huge step forward.
I think my personal point of view is that usually projects like Flint, or which are obviously well funded, you have some of the big backers from the Web3 ecosystem as well. There's a lot of education that needs to be done, right? I mean, people who are just shifting from Web2, people who have been doing in the traditional financial markets, whether equity markets, etc., and they are just having a taste of Web3, right? I mean, the UX UI is very important to them. But besides that, what is important is that projects like yours, who could actually educate a bunch of these retail investors to have their user experience very smoother as well.
So yeah, see, there are two things here, right? One is you educating people about what crypto space is all about, and second is user experience. So when you actually speak about teaching people, I mean, we are not the only ones. So we do have a YouTube channel called Learn with Flint, and
it's called as Learn with Flint,
yeah.
Is it?
So I think maybe I have to have another beer to make it sound better, but yes. So we do have a YouTube channel that actually helps in letting people know what crypto is all about and how do you go about actually investing into crypto. What are the parameters you need to look into, whether it's a good coin, whether it's not a bad coin, or how do you actually look for use case scenarios, where do you go for that information. There's a whole plethora of episodes that exist. But, and as I said, the Web3 community in India at large, or globally as well, they are producing content so that people adopt, they understand. So they don't fall because they do not fall for scams, right? I mean, let's give you a fine example. This quarter alone in this year, we've already had $1.3 billion worth of scams in DeFi space. And that is already like, I think last year we had about close to $3 billion, and we're already cutting it half in the first 3 months of this year. So you have to be careful when you invest. You should know where you're investing in, how you're investing, how's it going by. So these all tie up into the whole picture of understanding what crypto is all about. I mean, you look at a global scale, keeping the DeFi markets, they're very small right now. But when it explodes, when there are a lot more companies like Alameda Research or the bigger companies now, the bigger scream was BlackRock. They're entering into the crypto. I mean, they've already got their tentacles into the crypto space through multiple hedge funds. But now when they officially declare that they're coming into the markets, that's when things are going to explode, right? I mean, you understand. That means these institutional players are looking at hedging their interest from capital markets to the crypto markets. It's about being careful where they're going to put their money, what's going to happen at any given point in time, taking the inflation into understanding right now what's happening at the global level. I'm sorry, I got a bit diverted from there.
But about the education part. I mean,
yeah, so these are all factors that need to be taken into our consideration. So it's not just about you understanding what coin you're buying, it's about also understanding traditional finance space. And at the same time, when you talk about the user experience, as you pointed out, is you need to go from point A to point B in the smallest amount of time possible. I mean, if I want to onboard a user's journey should be simple and it should be as easy as possible. to understand it. So it's about two things: understanding and ease of access. These two needs to come up, and this is what we've been focused on, and we've been able to deliver at Flint. And this is what is going to, as we go down the lane, this is what you're going to see in a lot of financial products as well that are going to come up. And that's going to be a bit of a game changer for us and to a lot of people in the crypto native space as well.
I think this is a very interesting angle because it's just not about the people. On one side of the spectrum, you have folks who are like crypto natives who are trading on a bunch of currencies, including the altcoins. And on the other side, you have people who are just starting off, just touching the layer of from the Web 2 to the Web 3 as well. So one thing that really comes out, right, in spaces where we are currently in a place where the community, of investors, community of founders, community from the Web3 ecosystem are coming together and having these kind of exchanges and discussions so that either we co-create, have partnerships, or learn from each other, or at least experiment with all these Web3 products, right? A lot of retailers are also loving this particular process, and they are really loving this ambience of, where the beer is also flowing. They are having the food by the side, and they're having this close-knitted discussions as to where things will be heading towards. Because believe it or not, in the coming 2 to 3 years, you will definitely see the surge of Web3 projects and products for sure.
For example, I just met a guy who is working at a very mainstream company. I'm not going to say it because he's just an intern over there. But they are like, he's a Web3 intern. Let me just say that. He's a Web3 intern at a very non-Web3 mainstream company. And that's what. So
I think I met him as well. Can I say the name? No.
So I think a lot of companies right now are definitely experimenting on the Web3 space. Any Web2 company that understands the cloud game or the SaaS game has been navigating to the Web3 ecosystem. Whether you are testing out and setting up a small team to start off with a bunch of Web3 projects, or setting up a team where you can actually onboard a bunch of Web3 native folks to experiment with some things to elevate your product as well. Because if a company like JP Morgan, which has produced a good report of late, as talking about Decentraland and the sandbox and all those things. So definitely the industry, just not the banking industry, but a lot of other industries are adopting this curve. And retail investors like us, you and me, based out of India, definitely we would be looking into products like Flint or a bunch of them that are available in the market to have some exposure, have an alternative to investments, and also learn from it. Yeah. So any closing thoughts?
So before we close, I just want to understand your function as you see growth at Flint, right? I want to understand why were you hired and what are you personally setting out to do?
Okay, see, the idea of me was about being passionate about crypto, which is more important than anything else. And I've been in this space, trading or whatever I've been doing over the last couple of years. But per se, as I come from a marketing background, and I've been exploring all the alternatives that exist. I've learned everything from scratch. Everybody learns from their own pace, right? And I've explored this space long enough. And when I was really passionate about trying to make a change, came across Flint and got into the whole growth space of things. So basically what I look at is partnerships and communications. And communication is everything, right? Here, especially in crypto space, is about which area of directions one needs to take. How do we project ourselves as a project? What are the differences that we're trying to make? And all these tie up into marketing for me. And marketing is a part of growth, if you look into it. And partnerships are the most important thing for you to develop as a company. So we've got 2 beautiful partnerships already in existence, one with Solana and one with Terra. And there are more partnerships lined up. And the further we move, we're going to come out with multiple financial products, tying up with different companies that can provide benefits to our users, and at the same time, different ecosystems that can help us, gain more access to a lot more things. Because crypto is an ever-evolving space. I mean, if you are 24/7 on it, I mean, you don't get good sleep. But when I used to trade, I used to have like black eyes. But even now, I do the same thing. But it's great. It's great to be here, taking care of partnerships, looking into communications, and a lot of other things that grow for me.
Awesome. I'm so happy to meet you guys. Both of us, we connected before on Clubhouse, and I'm very happy to meet you in person today. And you want to plug anything?
No, I think it's an exciting time to be on the Web3 space. So sooner or later, everyone will be touching various layers in the coming months. So the earlier, the better. And yeah, a good place to start is educating yourself and getting into a bunch of networks, podcasting networks, especially consuming good content and learning the rules of the game. So to play the game, you definitely want to know the rules of the game. So that's it. And by the way, Salman, thanks so much for having this conversation and coming to this wonderful party as well. So I loved your energy and thanks for having this conversation.
Total mutual appreciation.
Likewise.
And thank you.
And we need to get a beer somehow. It's about time.
Good day.
Okay, thank you. Good stuff, man. Yeah, it was very impromptu, but